Hello, hello?
Hello?
Hello? Is anyone out there?
It's a mom's night out.
Tonight, I have the great pleasure of introducing our first guest in the Power Player series, Christina Farias. Christina is a lifestyle change specialist, holistic nutrition coach, and celebrity trainer. She has always been passionate about healthy eating and fitness. From a young age, she learned to appreciate farm-to-table eating, movement, and a love for the outdoors. In 2013, she started Farias Fitness with celebrity clients Mick Fleetwood and Christine McVie, whom she traveled the world with. In 2018, she took her one-on-one coaching online through My PT Hub and expanded her offering to include 6-week group programs where you get personalized macro plan, online accountability, workouts, meal ideas, and weekly Zoom group chats. As a client of her 6-week program, I can personally attest to life-changing power and success in her programming. Today, Christina has over 500 clients around the world. I should also mention that Christina and I went to high school together. Go Dolphins. But wow, you are absolutely amazing. I've loved following along and witnessing all your successes in life via social media because you are always traveling the world. Where are you today?
I am in Bali. Tomorrow morning, I leave for Thailand. So, oh my gosh, it's so funny to hear you talk about me because I sound so much cooler when you talk about me than I actually think that I am.
I was going to say that was a really good
impressive.
intro.
Yeah, totally.
Because she is
Hi,
impressive.
Welcome to Mom's Night Out.
Hi, thank you.
We're really excited to have you here tonight.
Very excited.
I know it's night for us, morning for you.
I think we should point that out. What time is it where you are?
It's actually, it's pretty late right now. It's 10:15, but my work days start around 4 a.m. here in Bali. So it's definitely, it's early. So by noon or 2 o'clock, I'm usually ready for a nap.
You've lived a whole life.
I've lived a whole life.
Let's hop right into it. Jen, you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So why did you choose to go this path in life, to dive into this wellness and health industry?
I grew up and my mom was similar to your mom. Like she was a fitness junkie. And I started playing sports when I was super, super young. And I think if I'm honest, there was, a history of disordered eating in the family. So it was very much driven by wanting to learn how to be skinny. And then it was never a question. I was fascinated with exercise science and nutrition and ended up studying that. But I did an internship in high school. Remember, they had the work-based learning at a gym. And it was just sort of something I kind of always knew I wanted to do. But I would say ultimately it was definitely driven behind, what drives a lot of us women to do a lot of things, which is, I know how to not do this. I want to learn how to do it the right way.
I love that.
True.
I love how vulnerable that answer was
because
I feel like no one ever is real about why.
Yeah, I've been in Bali for a month exploring extreme vulnerability. I think for me, I'm always the tough one that doesn't show vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I'm in a place now at 39 where I'm willing to be honest about things that, and now working with so many women, we're all in the same place. Or even if we're not actually sharing that honest dialogue, behind the scenes, a lot of us are struggling with the same things.
Oh,
I love that.
100%. And you have a lot of mom clients because obviously this podcast is called Mom's Night Out. So I'm sure you must see that tenfold if you have all these mom clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying.
Oh my God, 100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know we can all relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going into the new year, right? And so everyone's setting New Year's resolutions. I feel like this is probably one of your busiest times. I think we were wondering, how do you set yourself up for success with fitness and nutrition regimens in the new year? What's one quick piece of advice you could offer us?
So two parts of that. I always tell clients, like, we're all training for the next adventure, right? So it's like training to go on that girl's vacation and feel really good, or training for the holiday parties so you can go and indulge guilt-free. I would say the holiday kind of falls into that category of, like, if you've been doing your work all year, then you enjoy Christmas and you enjoy the holidays and you indulge guilt-free. I think the new year is an amazing time to reflect and set goals. Next week, I am not doing any video chats and no meetings with clients, because I want no one obsessing over dieting, right? We shouldn't be dieting through Christmas. Jen will remember one of the pillars of my program is really working at self-awareness, where no matter what goes on around you, you're in control of your own emotions. So what I encourage people to do through the holidays and in life is have your non-negotiables, where if you're doing these things, right, you're focusing on your sleep, you're focusing on your water, you're eating your protein, you're eating your vegetables, and you're eating your fiber, then everything else is just going to be okay. You're not going to crave the junk. You're not going to lose your mind. And you're going to be able to cruise through the holidays, with your nervous system in check. It's the minute that we let sleep go to the wayside, we stop eating enough, we're skipping meals, we're working out over excessively because we feel like, that's going to help us with the stress. Once we start letting all those things and our blood sugar goes out of whack and we're not sleeping and we're dehydrated and we're not getting the nutrients that we need, well, that's when the holiday stress really kicks in. So what I encourage people to do is to just continue to not skip enough of the good shit, because the minute that we're not getting the good stuff in is the minute that the world seems like it's ending and we're, 19 eggnogs deep, in a spiral of chaos. So yeah, I think that's my approach for the holidays is we never skip the good stuff, I
love that.
And we shouldn't be dieting through the holidays.
Yes,
it should be a time that you're present. And, unfortunately, it is a time where people slip into a dress that they haven't worn in a year. And they're like, oh my God, this is tight. And now behind closed doors, they're spiraling. So if the holiday can be a time to get remotivated and do it the right way, that's great. But if it's a time where you're going to approach the holidays and say, all right, well, now I'm going to go do keto. I'm not going to eat carbs for the rest, this year. I'm going to go to CrossFit 7 days a week. Then you're back into the same place that got you to where you're at, which is the all or nothing and doing it the wrong way. So, I think for us women and moms especially, it's that too much is just too much.
I love that. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
But get the good stuff.
Get the good stuff.
I love that.
I know. We all deserve the good stuff.
We all need more sleep.
Yeah.
More protein.
Yeah. Never too much protein. So one thing that I found really interesting from your 6-week program was how diet and exercise impact and ultimately help manage your hormones. And I think most listeners are women. So can you enlighten us a bit into how that works? Because I think you blew my mind in that all of that was connected. And I saw big improvements when I was working in your program on my own hormones.
Yeah, it's a really neat time, right? Where, as a hormone specialist, it's a buzzword right now where everyone's like, my hormones, and we can go get a test and have our hormones tested, but it's going to be one small blip in time of what our actual hormones are going to do. And while there are synthetic pellets and hormone replacements, the only way to actually balance our hormones is through consistent lifestyle practices, right? So the big thing with my 6-week program is reversing malnourishment. I talk a lot about how 92% of the population is malnourished, right? Meaning they can't either absorb and digest the food to make energy, or they're just not getting enough food because they're eating processed food. So the first step towards, it's wild because we're obviously bigger than ever and we're eating, more than ever. So the first step towards balancing our hormones is, again, eating enough of the good stuff, right? So my whole rainbow campaign and fiber campaign and protein campaign, that's the biggest part of balancing our hormones. Now, I always use the mantra of stimulate, don't aggravate, because as women aging gracefully, we're in a culture where too much exercise is just as dangerous as not exercising.
Totally.
And we glorify this, over-exercise culture, but that's just going to lead to more adrenal fatigue and more thyroid dysfunction. So I would say when it comes to diet and exercise, one of my, I like to create sort of light bulb moments for people where they're like, oh my God, that actually clicked. And it's that anytime your body thinks that it is at war, it has evolutionary adapted to survive that war by turning your metabolism off, right? To store every little bit of fat that you have to survive war.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So as a new mom, specifically, when you're not getting sleep, when the kids are sick and you're stressed, when your husband's out of town on a business trip, when you're over-exercising, when you're under-exercising, when you're overeating, under-eating, eating inflammatory foods, drinking too many espresso martinis, all those things equate to your body thinking it's at war, which are going to cause weight loss resistance, right? Where you just can't lose weight because your body thinks it's at war. So as women, we have this eat less than 1,200 calories and work out all day. And maybe that worked for us in our early 20s. But where we're at now is that's just going to stress your body out more. Mm-hmm. And it's going to cause what we have now, which is called adrenal fatigue, which ultimately leads to thyroid dysfunction and hormonal imbalance. So in, the connection between diet and exercise and hormones, step one is we have to get enough of the good stuff because the vitamins and minerals that you're eating actually make your hormones. Most people don't even know what a hormone is.
Right.
A hormone is a chemical messenger. It is a chemical messenger that travels through your body with a little message to a target cell or a tissue where it has a message. Well, that all takes nutrients to make those hormones. So step one is, can we get enough of the good stuff? And step two is, can we keep your body feeling safe? And so the over extreme dieting or, not eating for a day and then gorging ourselves, which is most cycle, all those are just going to lead to more hormonal balances. And then for us women, we can look at our PMS, our cramps, our flow, our mood, our cravings, and that's sort of how we can gauge a lot of our hormonal balances, so it's eliminating the extremes and then adding in more consistency with the good stuff.
Such a good message, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you take one little nugget of advice today, it's that like balance and also prioritizing those things that really matter, right? Like you were talking about your proteins, your fibers, your rainbow vegetables.
And sleep, right? Like getting enough sleep, which is so hard to do. But
I know.
I feel like exactly what you were talking about. I was stuck
in body at war.
Yeah, I was stuck in that body at war after having my third baby. And when I finally started prioritizing sleep, that's when I started seeing real game changing gains. And
when you were talking, you mentioned the rainbow campaign. Can you elaborate on that?
I have this thing and it's all over my social media where it's like, did you eat your rainbow today? Did you eat your rainbow today? Did you eat your rainbow today? And I swear, I've dealt with so many, things in my past and, now finding this one thing that if you can eat your rainbow of vegetables every single day, then you're getting all of your essential vitamins and minerals. And then it's going to add a whole other slew of benefits of lots of fiber, lots of phytonutrients, adding volume so that we actually feel full. And really being consistent with that one thing, I think is the biggest game changer that exists. And then it also allows us, Jen can tell you about like my meal prep fundamentals and, accessibility to healthy food is such an important thing, right? I've got a grandmother who's 85 and she always had a salad in the fridge. And she says now, if I never have to make another salad in my life, but all else fails, 7 days a week, she had that rainbow salad in the fridge. And with every meal, she could grab a handle of it. So it's, do you have your rainbow prepped? Or can you find that rainbow? And that's sort of assuring that we're going to get those essential vitamins and minerals that we otherwise just wouldn't get. And when you start eating that rainbow consistently, and then all of a sudden you have a day where you don't eat your rainbow, right? Well, that's when that biofeedback comes out, because you might have cravings, or you might feel empty almost. You might have your digestion change. You might feel lethargic. You might feel sluggish. So a rainbow a day keeps depression and the doctor away, is sort of what I say. And it's been the biggest, most life-changing thing. So what I do is encourage people to build their rainbow salad base. And if you can keep that salad base in the fridge, because when you're tired, you're not going to go make a salad. It's going to be the last thing we're going to do.
Yeah, no, I'm so guilty.
But if
I don't eat enough vegetables.
Same.
Yeah, and most people don't. A fascinating statistic that I share all the time is that the Cancer Institute has told us repeatedly, in order to prevent colon cancer, which is, skyrocketing, that we need no less than 30 grams of fiber a day. And the average American eats less than 13.
Wow.
Our ancestors ate 150. So fiber is basically what grows your immune system. 70% of your immune system is right there in your colon. So if we want to prevent leaky gut, which affects most of the population, are we getting enough of those good things? And Jen can tell you, my program, I don't think I've ever told someone not to eat something. I say, if you're eating enough of the good stuff, you're not going to want junk food.
Right.
Or you can eat one cookie and not spiral into eating, 2 sleeves. It's as simple as that. But fiber in the rainbow is just that first step towards getting that fiber consistently.
That's amazing. It feels like you have an emphasis on that versus, I've done a lot of programs in the past where like the emphasis like protein, which I know is important, but there has never really been an emphasis on the good stuff in the rainbow and like getting all your nutrients. So I love that frame of thought. Okay, so maybe shifting our next question for you, like what would you say, do you have like 2 or 3 power snacks? Like it doesn't have to be a protein snack, but a power snack that you go to when you're traveling, because all of our listeners are like on the go all the time and moms and busy and here and there. So like what are your like 2 or 3 like power snacks that you lean on or go to or like really push in your programs?
That's such a good question, because one of my whole mantras is taking your show on the road, right? I traveled with musicians for years, and it's like most people look at an airplane and everything goes out the window. And it's stressful, right? True. And stress equals weight gain, So, I'm the person that's traveled around with a cooler bag my whole life. Most people don't even know you can travel with food,
Yeah.
And you can, you could bring an ice pack as long as it's frozen. I just got all my supplements packed. So 2 things. I think hard-boiled eggs are God's gift to the world.
Okay.
And that would be like my top travel snack. If there's a Costco nearby, you can grab the 2 packs of hard-boiled eggs. And those have been, I'll grab an avocado and some hard-boiled eggs. And that is like my go-to. The other thing that I suggest, I just made some up for myself that I have clients travel with, are what I call protein oat baggies, where you get out containers and you put a scoop of oats, tablespoon of chia seeds, tablespoon of flax meal, some protein powder, some collagen, maybe some goji berries and some cacao nibs. And if you have that one thing, you can just grab a cup of boiling water from Starbucks or on an airplane and add hot water to it. And you've got the most amazing snack on the go with 15 grams of fiber. So that's my other travel go-to, protein baggies.
Wow.
And then my third travel snack, just in like sticking with the protein, would be turkey roll-ups, like the organic sliced turkey.
Yeah.
And then nuts. Nuts are always a fun thing to travel with. They're pretty nutrient dense, and easy. and you can just keep a bag of them. So those would sort of be my 3 travel staples. I don't think I ever leave home without some nuts, some hard-boiled eggs, and some protein baggies. And it also saves you $25 because if you go buy a meal at an airport,
oh my gosh,
it's just robbery.
So expensive. I do feel like a lot of the airports and even places on the go have hard-boiled eggs now, which is pretty cool. That's like a newer thing.
Yeah. I was just in Chile for 10 days, and I think I lived off hard-boiled eggs. So, Christina, you'll be really proud of me. Nuts.
I love the oat bags.
My favorite is hard-boiled eggs with a little sea salt and nutritional yeast and Dijon mustard is like crack.
Oh.
I do
not that I've tried crack, but I imagine.
Clarification there.
I know.
But it is. I mean, I started traveling with Fleetwood Mac in 2011, and you couldn't find a salad in an airport, that didn't have cheese and croutons and like deli ham. And now they have vending machines with health food. It's such a cool time where people are, even in Europe, like you can't even find junk food in airports anymore. It's healthy, real food. You can buy a rotisserie chicken in the airport now.
What?
I've not come across that, but
not in Boston. Okay, Boston, let's go.
Boston does not have the best food.
No.
Okay, I'm going to kind of ask a deep question, or maybe someone else wants to ask it about body image. Okay, I feel like as a new mom, but as a woman, we all struggle with body image. And so doing what you do, have you ever struggled? It sounds like you have, right? And talk to us about like how you move through that and what advice you give to clients when you're working with them. Because I think a lot of people listening as new moms are probably dealing with that.
Yeah,
so,
we all have.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Every day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the hardest thing in the entire world for women. I think even doing what I do, which is tracking, having people track, log, weigh, measure, take progress photos. It's like this slippery slope between, do I even want to be doing this? Is this going to cause, eating disorders, right? And my goal is that people learn all of these things and learn nutrient composition and learn how much they need to eat and learn the dangers of under eating and get their metabolic rate up so that they're no longer starving and they can eat tons of food and be satiated so that they can get to this beautiful place of intuitive eating. Right. But to get there, a lot of us just don't have that education. I have dealt so incredibly heavily with my own body image since I can even remember. I think for a lot of us, we can remember that one time. I remember some of my guy friends in 3rd grade calling me thunder thighs. And that was something, I think we can all go back to that time where we got made fun of or even somebody in front of us said, oh, look at that girl. She's so fat. Right. And in those formative years, those are developing our relationship. Even a parent making fun of someone on TV, can shape us. I dealt very heavily with disordered eating. On the first Fleetwood Mac tour, I was a compulsive overexerciser. And then there'd be days where I wouldn't eat, followed by days of binging. And what saved me was I'm a studier. So I started studying eating disorders and the psychology of them and the science behind them. And what I ultimately found out was that my overtraining and undereating was causing my issues. So I'm such a believer in anything that we're struggling with becoming an expert in it. And now I work with a lot of people that are recovering from disordered eating, body dysmorphia, self-esteem issues, and any sort of disordered eating. I think what's really helped me is understanding that no matter whether someone is stick thin and, like I told Jen when she started working with me, like, Jen, you have no idea how much I idolized you, growing up. Like there wasn't very many Mexican, Italian chicks in school, and you were this thin blonde, you didn't have kinky hair, but it doesn't matter how thin or how ideal we are. We're all still struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I work with women in their 70s, and I'm like, you're 70 and you're still struggling to love your body.
That's wild.
So I think, my programs are drifting a lot more into mindset connection instead of like just diet and exercise. And I can finally say I'm at a point after years of work that I love my body, but it's a choice. Like it's truly rewiring the narrative that we tell ourselves, and also studying my period cycle. Right now my period's due in 2 days. I know my estrogen is dropping, so I know I'm going to see something different when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
I know that my queen bee hormone is dissipated. I have a rule for clients that you can't work out 3 days before your period. I'm doing all of these things to be graceful, right? I'm not going to go put on some mini dress and, stand in front of the mirror for an hour. So I've really studied my hormones and worked so incredibly hard to avoid my own triggers, right? Whether it's late night scrolling and comparing. But I find strength in just knowing that we're all the same.
It's so true.
I know.
It's so true.
And like giving another woman, like we want women around us that give us compliments. Like how good does it feel when one of your girlfriends says, "Oh my God, your arms look great."
Oh my gosh, that's these girls.
Yeah.
You need hype girls around you.
You need hype girls. It's so true.
Like a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
No, Christina, sorry. I was just going to say I'm so like proud of you for like being so vulnerable with us and opening up, because I think everyone looks at you and we all want what I can see
like,
in
I
this
want to look
little
like that.
I know, but to know that like we've all been there in those, from the stories you're just sharing, we've all been there and thought those thoughts about ourselves is like such a powerful thing to hear, that you've come out on the other side and that you love your body. That's such a strong message.
I know.
Yeah.
And I love that you're shaping your life, like what you do for a living, and you're helping others work through that. Like that's so incredible. It's more than just like, this episode is more about fitness. It's not just about fitness and nutrition. It's about loving your body and getting there. And it's so special that you can share that with us.
Yeah, it's neat to be at a place in my career where I feel like what will make me and is making me even more relatable is that, that vulnerability. For years, I always thought, well, there's something wrong with you, if you've got these weaknesses. And now it's empowering, and everything comes through education. I am a holistic nutrition educator. I truly believe that the only way to make changes is to educate. So if we know that our thoughts tell our little amygdala, and that tells our thyroid or our hypothalamus what to do with our hormones, your thoughts literally become your hormones. But it's a practice, right? Mindset in positive self-talk is a practice. And if you're a new mom and you've got, had less than 5 hours of sleep, my rule is you're not allowed to work out if you get less than 5 hours of sleep.
I love
because
that.
now you're just going to be even
Would we
more
ever work
stressed out.
No, it's but
I love that rule.
It's true. It's such
You
a
need
good
the
rule.
sleep.
I actually really do try to live by that. Truly, because can't do it all the time, but like exactly like you said, like nothing good comes from that. And
No.
It's changing
We're
your
a completely
mindset.
different person when you're tired.
Yes.
When you're in 5 hours of sleep, your neurotransmitters, your oxytocin, your dopamine, your serotonin, your endorphins, those are all basically dried up like the desert. So you just have to give yourself a break and put on some good music and put on your comfy clothes and not get in front of the mirror and call one of your friends and say, "Tell me I'm pretty."
Right. I love
You guys
that
are on my
so
speed
much.
I know. Okay, so our podcast is called A Mom's Night Out, as you know, and we drink champagne when we record. So how does alcohol affect hormones and weight loss?
Yeah.
Such a good question.
It's not good, right?
Give us the honest answer.
Yeah. I mean, I went 7 years without drinking, and it was
Incredible.
life-changing. And then I realized that it's, and a lot of that also was so driven by getting super, super, super thin. And the thinner I got, the more my career took off. And And that was amazing. I think everybody should, even if it's just 1 month or 2 months off from drinking, we should all experience that. So what I tell clients is alcohol does two things. The first one is alcohol is extremely good for the spirit. And sometimes the spirit just needs to have some fun, right?
That.
Like I love alcohol. The good thing is when you don't drink that much, you're a cheap date and you don't need, I always joke like, oh, I'm so athletic right now. I can drink, so much without getting drunk. The negative part of alcohol is it does cause malabsorption of our nutrients. So I always use the example of the alcohol shits. You go out, you drink a bunch of alcohol, and the next day you're just on the toilet and things just pouring out of you, right? That's all the nutrients that your body didn't absorb. Oh. So what it does do is it causes inflammation and it alters our gut pH and it blocks absorption of our nutrients. And it causes some of these markers of inflammation to wander outside of our body and cause systemic inflammation, right? Your liver, which is the workhorse of your body, starts to get, slowed down and taxed because alcohol is a poison. So what I always do, one of my favorite mantras is, if I'm going to drink alcohol, I don't eat shit. And if I'm going to eat shit, I don't drink alcohol. And that's a mantra that I live by, right? Because the two together is just going to make you completely inflamed. So what I suggest with alcohol is having a plan, right? So with clients each week in a meeting, we sit down and we're like, what's on your calendar for this week? Okay, I've got a girls' night Tuesday, business dinner Wednesday, family dinner, with my in-laws Friday and a birthday party Saturday. It's like, okay, well, let's pick a couple of those events to drink at. Because if you're drinking 4 nights a week, you're going to be, completely anxious, depressed. Alcohol disrupts our sleep. And I think a lot of us at all of our ages, like this dialogue I'm having with so many of my friends lately is just like, why am I drinking? My heart rate's up. I feel like crap. I'm not sleeping well. So it's this double-edged sword, right? So it's like, okay, maybe I'm going to have, so each week it's like setting a goal for, what that drinking is. Now, I always also teach clients that alcohol is a pause button on fat loss.
For sure.
So if someone is on a journey where they're trying to lose fat, we're not going to be in diet fat loss mode 7 days a week. That's just not physically possible or healthy. But you have to kind of go on a run without that alcohol long enough to get your inflammation down so that you can actually lose the fat. Now, someone like me or Jen who's super thin and, muscular and lean, we're going to metabolize alcohol a lot faster. So if we go out, we drink 2 vodka sodas or a couple tequilas or a glass of white wine, I always say go for like the clear liquids. And we go out dancing and we don't eat junk, we could probably wake up the next day and have lost weight.
Right.
Because we're going to metabolize that alcohol a lot faster. And Jen will have eaten her 35 grams of fiber, 125 grams of
She brought
protein.
her salad with her to the club.
Yeah, right? So as long as you're eating that good stuff, but the dialogue, most women are saying, oh God, I got to go out with all my skinny bitch friends tonight. I'm not eating today because I want to, and we don't eat. And then we sit down at the restaurant and we're altered because we're hungry and starving. And, then we're the chick dancing on the table and going home and eating a whole bag of chocolate bark. So it's kind of planning ahead and knowing what you're going to have. So that's the spiel with alcohol. It can be a great thing, in moderation.
Yeah.
But too much of that great thing is really dangerous for us and our nervous systems.
And especially if you're targeting fat loss, that's alcohol.
Exactly.
It's not good.
It's not it.
Yeah. Or one of the reasons I started working with Christina was because I have psoriasis and it had really triggered when I was coming off nursing. And I noticed that alcohol would trigger it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a direct correlation. Same with sugar, which Christina and I have talked about.
Yeah.
So it's partially with weight loss, but if there's other things that your body is dealing with, they can also have a negative impact.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay,
yeah, it's going to cause leaky gut. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you talk about leaky gut? I know we have to wrap this, but will you talk about leaky gut quickly? And I feel like gut health is a buzz term too right now, right? And so everyone's
Finally.
so focused. Yeah. So
gut health is everything.
Talk about that really quickly.
Yeah. So we're now calling your gut your second brain, right? And we now know that your gut is the basically the heart of your body. It's your connection to the outside world. And when we start talking about this term leaky gut, it's basically hyperpermeability of your gut lining. So if you were to cross section your gut, the lining of your gut is only like a half of a hair thin. And it's relying on this mucous membrane that, you're actually more bacteria than you are human cell. Most people don't know that. And it's estimated that almost 99% of the population has leaky gut every single week.
What?
Right? Because in just one day of not eating the good stuff, you're going to have leaky gut, right? You're not going to feed that good bacteria that protects bacteria from encroaching and getting into your blood. What we know now is that most, if not all, of the disease-causing pathogens, the bacteria, the viruses that are entering your body are doing so through the lining of your gut, right? Mm-hmm. So leaky gut is when your body basically can't protect itself from foreign invaders. And when these little border patrols should be nice and tight, where they let the good guys in and they keep the bad guys out, they go like this. And they allow the junk to leach into your body. And then it mounts an inflammatory response because your immune system is there. So when we start talking about gut health, it goes into everything, to our hormones, to our mood. We have vitamins. Vitamin K is made in the gut. We have neurotransmitters. Most of your serotonin is secreted into the gut. We rely on a healthy gut for toxin elimination and nutrient absorption. Right? So you eat fiber, real quick, why we're eating all this fiber. You eat fiber, it ferments, it makes good bacteria, short-chain fatty acids that can protect that lining of your gut. So they absorb nutrients and they protect your gut and everybody wins. They've got this symbiotic relationship. But anytime you're not getting enough of the good stuff, that protective layer dwindles down, dwindles down, dwindles down. And then we introduce the modern American diet, right? The biggest killer of gut health is pharmaceuticals. Well, the majority of population are now on pharmaceuticals or NSAIDs every day. Then we throw in chemicals, toxins. I mean, God, go pick up a power bar and it's got 25 chemicals. Well, anytime your body doesn't know what something is, it puts your body at risk. Because now that junky stuff, we call them protein resistant starches like gluten, things that are hybridized, genetically modified. Your body's like, what the hell is that? I don't know what to do. And over time, your body makes an antigen. It makes something to attack that foreign invader, right? So now we have no protection, leaky gut, foreign invaders entering the body, and your body attacking those things. And then the last part about that with autoimmune conditions like psoriasis or, any sort of autoimmune condition, right? When your body attacks something, it doesn't know the difference between that something and its own tissues, right? So for gluten, for example, the protein looks just like the protein that makes up our body's own organs. So instead of just attacking that foreign invader, that gluten molecule, which is one of the most inflammatory because of all the overexposure, your body attacks itself. And that's what autoimmune conditions are. Mm-hmm. Currently, 1 in 6 women have an autoimmune disease, and that's just reported. Hair loss, obesity, depression. All of these things are autoimmune conditions, right? That we're like, why? Well, everything starts with the gut. And I always tell people, if your gut is in dysbiosis, your brain is in dysbiosis because there is a direct connection, your vagus nerve, a bidirectional highway that communicates. So a happy brain stems from a happy gut. The last example would be, how when you get sick, you just want to eat sugar and toast and ginger ale and Gatorade. It's because the bad guys are winning, right? You have a bacterial overgrowth. You have a virus. And every day in your gut, there's a war. Good guys versus bad guys. When the bad guys win, they crave sugar, right? when the bad guys win, we have leaky gut, and your immune system goes into, overdrive.
Interesting.
So a proper fiber diet literally feeds, makes your bacteria thrives, and prevents leaky gut. And in just one day of not getting that good stuff, that's why after a big alcohol night, you're depressed.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have leaky gut.
Oh my gosh.
Eat your fiber.
Yeah. Mandy and
so
I
that's
just
a short.
Mandy and I just had the flu, so we get that. We're like coming off of that.
God,
We're like,
it was
oh
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody says I ate 35 grams of fiber, nailed it, meal prepped all week, and get sick.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's typically, I got run down. The kids were sick. I missed a night of sleep. I
100%.
ate McDonald's, and then we're sick.
100%. That's true. We've been go, and then bam, the flu hit us. So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. You want to do a quick couple fun questions?
Yeah.
and
If you
then
have
we'll
a few
wrap?
minutes, we can do some fun questions.
We'll do
really
rapid
quick.
fire.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good. We're good.
All right. So we just did an episode on toxic traits. What's your toxic trait?
Dating.
Wait. Okay. So are you single?
Yeah.
So we have some male listeners.
Yeah.
So guys,
It's not finding the guy. It's just keeping. I think my toxic trait that I'm working on is I've been traveling so much that I get a very weak attention span, and B, expecting a man to be too perfect.
yeah.
Yes.
So now I'm learning that I can't expect a man to want to eat healthy, work out, be emotionally vulnerable and connected if he's not already there.
Yeah.
Right? So it's look for someone that is in alignment a little bit more. So I would say my toxic trait would be my relationships. That's the area that I'm really, trying to work on so that I could potentially, be like you guys and keep someone around forever.
We tricked them. We
Yeah.
tricked
Yeah,
them
they're-
into marrying.
Yeah.
we've
regretting it.
reproduced. So.
No, marriage is hard, man.
It's a lot of work.
Okay. Tell us something that nobody knows about you or would be surprised to listen to, if they're tuning into this podcast. Fun fact.
Ooh, that's a good one. Something that they'd be surprised to know about me. I would say probably that I take 3 rest days a week.
I love that.
And that's maybe not that interesting to people, but I think most people look at me and they're like, oh my God, you're so fit. You must never drink alcohol, and you must work out 7 days a week, and you must never have any junk food. I would say that I take rest days, and I do eat and drink and have cheat days. My cheat days probably look a little different. So, maybe that's not that interesting.
No, I think
No, it's very
cool.
interesting.
I think that's
to hear
cool
that.
because I feel like women are training 7 days a week,
Yeah.
and they're high-fiving each other about that. And if
You need a
you
rest.
shouldn't do that, yeah,
Yeah.
Stimulate, don't aggravate. The less I work out, the more ripped I get.
that's awesome.
That's not the case for me.
No, I've honestly, I found, so when I was in the best shape of my life for my wedding, that was the same thing. I worked out 3 days a week. I lifted heavy.
Yeah.
And then I was, I had
rest.
1 cardio day, and then I rested the other 3.
Mhm.
Lots of rest.
No, it's true.
Less was more.
Okay. And
Final
last
one.
question. If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing? What's your dream job?
Besides this.
Yeah.
I would love to be a gastroenterologist. I would love to be, I know, which is so, I didn't apply myself very well in school, and I had to, I paid for school. So, but I would love to go back and be a gut doctor.
That's so
That's
cool.
I love that.
I think it's fascinating.
And I feel like you've found your way to still helping people in
Yeah.
this area.
Yeah.
So-
Probably more so than some gastroenterologists do, because I feel like you're studying it and doing a holistic approach. So,
Yeah, I think doctors are fighting an uphill battle right now. And
Yeah.
this whole concept of lifestyle change specialist, which is what I call myself, it's you get the diagnosis of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, hormone imbalance, autoimmune disease, gut dysbiosis. and your doctor's like, well, you should really change your lifestyle. And people are like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Like,
what
what
does
does
that
that mean?
Yeah.
And like, you get online and you're like, okay, now I'm going to find a trainer, a nutritionist. And all my friends are like, yeah, I went to holistic nutritionist and she's prescribed $2,000 worth of supplements,
100%.
and it doesn't actually put you into an action plan of, all right, well, let's put on an Apple Watch or a Fitbit and start tracking your sleep,
Right.
or let's actually look at how much water you're eating and let's balance your blood sugar, and let's make sure that you're not under eating. So I think moving forward, there's going to be more. I'm working with some doctors now as a referral program because doctors have 20 minutes with you. They don't get to say, what are you eating? And let's sit down and, so I think there's such a demand for what I do now for people that, okay, fine, you got this shocking diagnosis. So you're actually in a stage where you're ready to change. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And usually there's a prescription written for maybe a metformin or something. And that's great. That can save your life if you've got diabetes. But like, people want to actually fix the issue more so now, I think, than just relying on medications.
Yeah.
Especially our generation, because our parents' generation, I think we're going to look back and it's going to be called like the disease generation.
Yeah.
And now there's this next generation and we're like, okay, I don't want to be 60, 70, 80 and be in pain and disease. I think statistically, they say that the average American is in pain for about the last 12 to 13 years of their life.
Wow.
And that's sad. So I think we're all waking up now where it's like, okay, what do I got to do to age gracefully?
Right.
And it's looking at our lifestyle to manage stress and good girlfriends.
I love that.
I love that as
Critical.
an ending.
Oh my gosh.
This was so
Seriously,
eye-opening.
This was amazing.
know,
I feel like our
Christina.
listeners are going to geek out about this
I know.
episode.
You're
Thank
such a
you so
goddess.
much. And
Yeah, a
tuning in
goddess.
from so far away. So
I know.
we had technical difficulties starting,
Oh my
guys.
God, I
But
know.
we figured it
know.
out.
The
microphone
So thanks for
trooper.
bearing with us.
Thank you. And it's the start of the year. So if any of this resonated strongly, please check out Christina's amazing programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
We'll
another group
we're gonna
program
post
starting
you.
January 8th. Yeah, that would be
Perfect.
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are so awesome. And this is
Yeah.
so fun.
Thank you. I
Christina,
hope we get to
thank
meet you in
you.
real life.
I know.
Come to Boston. We'll hang out.
I'm so overdue for
We're
a trip
fun.
home.
Yes.
We're fun.
We'll bring you hard-boiled eggs.
We're fun,
You
moms.
won't find him in the airport. We'll bring you some.
We'll put a couple cocktails into our map for the week so we can fit it in.
into that.
I love
Perfect.
that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, safe
Good
travels.
night. Good morning. Good
Yeah,
night.
yeah, good morning.
Go take a nap.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.